Well, good afternoon, everybody. I'm Deb Sofield, and you're listening to my weekly radio show called Encouragement for Your Life. Many of you know I'm a national speaker, trainer, and coach. I like to say I help people find their voice and learn to use it. I'm also a conference speaker on the topic of public speaking, presentation skills, how to deal with the media, crisis communication, and my newest presentation is called The Value of Your Words, From Gambling to Gaming. It's a great talk. If you are part of an organization that's having a conference and you need a rock star keynote speaker, I would love to be a part. You can find me at debsofield.com. As you know, I've got a number of books on the market. My book series, Encouragement for Your Life, Tough Love Memos to help you fight your battles and change the world, are available on Amazon, as well as my book, Speak Without Fear, and my latest book, Perfecting Your Platform. These last two books are also on Audible. Just go to Amazon, type in my name, Deb Sofield, and all my books will appear. I've got a great theme today. It is one that I have loved, and it's about a book I absolutely adore. And so my theme is this: friend, turn yourself around. If you're headed in the wrong direction, today is the day to stop and turn yourself around. I'm Deb Sofield. Thanks for spending these next few minutes with me. Let's get started with today's great show. Most of you know that I love to read. I am a big fan of the library, and recently I came across a book that I fell in love with. It was called The Map Thief, and it's a story of Forbes Smiley III, an esteemed rare maps dealer who, as the book jacket says, spent years doubling as a map thief until he was finally arrested, slipping maps out of books at the Yale University Library. I gotta say, it was a great book, and I learned a lot about maps, how they were created, and how by simply changing a border, you could change a nation. But beyond my own education about maps and their value was a story of the failings of a guy who committed crimes against all he had professed to love, the study and beauty of historical maps. In the end, after he was caught and admitted to his theft and then agreed to help recover some of what was lost to save himself from prison time, it was apparent that the one thing he could not recover, well, it was his name and his reputation. And due to the court order, he's no longer allowed to engage in the trade that he knew and loved so much. And the reality is, no one would ever buy or sell to him or for him again. Why? Because he is a known map thief. It was a good story. It was a great lesson for life that I want to touch on today, and it's this. Hey friend, if you're headed in the wrong direction, stop and turn yourself around before it's too late. I know most of you listening today are headed in the right direction, and that's great. Not pulling to the right or to the left, but staying within the borders of what's acceptable. For others who know they are in a mess, and when found out, you're either going to jail or you're going to wreck your reputation and you're going to cause your friends to turn away. Listen, if this is you and you are running headlong in the wrong direction, let me appeal to all that is good within you that's left. My friend, turn yourself around before it's too late. You know that you can and will be arrested for embezzlement, stock fraud, computer hacking, bank robbery, vehicular manslaughter, drug dealing, and 1,000 other crimes. But it's not just the recognizable crimes I'm talking about. It's also the personal issues you are not dealing with that will land you in a boatload of trouble. I think we're always surprised when we see online or maybe in a newspaper about a former upstanding citizen who embezzled from the PTA they were president of, or of the local food bank where they were employed, or of the nursing home where they work and stole from the elderly. But what about the other things that'll wreck your life if you're not careful? I gotta say, I shudder when I see the videos online that show the aftermath of jumbled steel and tires of a wrecked car because somebody took a selfie while driving or decided a text was more important than staying on your side of the road. And frankly, I have zero patience for those who drink and drive, because it's the drunk that usually walks away from the accident that many times takes the life of an innocent person. The photos I see only show me the damage of the current situation and not the extended pain of the families who've lost a loved one that will endure forever. We're becoming a nation of absurd, self-indulgent people concerned only with one's self, not others. And that is causing harm to a degree we have never seen in our country, our homes, and in the lives of those we love. Friend, please hear me. If you are headed down the wrong track, stop now before it's too late. Because one day when you least expect it, you will cross the point of no return. And with every good intention that you have to turn yourself around, it will not be enough, and you'll be lost forever. It happens every day. The book, The Map Thief, that I started telling you about when I opened, ends with Forbes Smiley, who now goes by his first name Ed, to hide his background and remind even himself that his name no longer has any meaning but that of a thief. Now he works on a yard crew, making a little money to help the family. His wife now carries the bulk of the financial responsibilities since he cannot work in his industry, and frankly, no one wants to be associated with him. But there's another part of the story that really hurt my heart because of the personal pain he caused so many who were at one time his friends, his customers, and his clients. That aspect of the story that rings so true was painful to read, and the realization for everyone who commits a crime that when and if you are found out, the loss of friends, customers, clients is probably more harsh than any prison sentence would ever be, because it's a loss of lifetime relationships. The people who trusted you, really trusted you, and now you've let them down. And friend, you will never regain a position of trust with them ever again. In fact, most will never want to see you again and will curse your name and the day you were born. A few of the map dealers who, without knowing, bought and sold the stolen wares of the map thief were his friends and clients. In reading of their profound loss of his friendship, his knowledge, his wit and wisdom, it was life-changing. And it made it hard for them to wrap their head around this incredible sense of betrayal. He affected everyone who had come in contact with him. At his hearing, the proprietors of the nation's top university libraries and rare book collections, whose maps he had stolen, told the court that his crime was more than a pebble on the water that rippled to the edge and then dissipated. When they were able to return some of the maps that they could find and put back in their collection, his crime was more like a drop of oil on the water that covered everything and left a mess that would probably never be removed or recovered. The saddest part of the whole story, and the thousands of stories just like this one, is that one day he made a choice. He made a choice to be a thief. I'm sure he justified it in his own mind. In fact, he states that private dealers and buyers were better owning all the maps, because with them the maps can be seen by all. And that's better than having maps stuffed away in a library where no one can enjoy the beauty of their story. Wow, you gotta hand it to him. He's convinced himself that his theft is justified in his own absurd, self-indulgent way. Isn't that just like those who act out today, always having to create a justification for their evil actions? Actions that can and many times cause great harm. As far as I know, no one's born a thief or an embezzler or a stock fraud dealer or a computer hacker or bank robber or drunk driver or drug dealer. Those are habits that you learn. Those are habits that you see and either turn away from or you get comfortable with. So much so that you become them unless you turn yourself around. Today. These habits are not like a 12-step program. You're not going to graduate from one to the other and get well and put your life back together. Oh no. If you're not careful, the habits that you are hiding and think you can get away with will hunt you down and follow you to your bitter end. And you're going to look awful in that orange jumpsuit. I wish I could tell you that you're smart enough to outfox the critics and keep the dogs at bay until you can get caught up on your debt, so you don't have to steal anymore, or erase your hard drive so no one sees your illicit addiction, or break off your affair before your spouse finds out, or one of the thousand of other issues you're dealing poorly with. A friend, time's not on your side. The piper will come calling, and she's got your number. Today, while you can, seriously think about turning yourself around, walking away, make it right, and don't turn back. You're not going to win at this game. It is stacked a mile high against you, and even if you have seared your moral conscience and think you can live with the consequences, you will always fear that your past will show up in the present. And from what I've seen, your past shows up when you're doing great, and it shows up when you're not. In either case, you're not able to fight back because the cards are no longer in your hands. Someone else is holding the deck. And when the house comes calling, your number is up. Hear me. If you're headed in the wrong direction, I am begging you to stop and turn yourself around before it's too late. You are better than the mess you are now in. Some of you need to be stronger than your fear and save yourself. Biggest friend, only you can do it. Only you can turn yourself around. I'm Deb Sofield. This is Encouragement for Your Life. Stay tuned. I've got a couple great articles I'd like to share with you. Hi, I'm Deb Sofield, author of the book Speak Without Fear. If you've ever needed help crafting the right message for shareholders' address or a national sales meeting or a conference, call me. I can help you craft your message for success. If you're in leadership or would like to be, you know how important it is to be able to present well. I'm a national speaker and an executive speech and corporate presentations coach. Don't waste your time or your company's money on those who claim to be a coach, but no one would ever pay to hear them speak. Hire someone who does this for a living and does it well and is successful. You can't afford not to because it's about you being rock star amazing. Call me. I'd like to be on your team. I'd like to be your coach. Contact me through my website, debsofield.com. Welcome back, everybody. Wow, I got to tell you, I loved that book, and I know it seems odd, but it was fascinating because I learned a lot about maps, and then it was heartbreaking that somebody would mess up their life so much. And to see what the aftermath has been as he's tried to start over, but not with a whole lot of luck. I came across a couple of articles I'd like to share with you. One is by a guy I like very much named Mark Chernoff, and it's called Ways to Change Your Life at Any Age. And as I get older, I'm always looking for new opportunity. So let me read what he says here. Mark Chernoff says, things can change if you want them to at any age. He says, as he awoke this morning, I marveled at my life today. Where he once woke up with dread at the thought of the day, now he wakes up with excitement to begin and grateful to be doing what he's doing for a living. He says, I'm so happy I did what I had to do and struggled through the tough times and fears and realigned my life with the things that make me happy. He says, friends often ask, how did he do it? And he says, I simply say hard work and persistence. It is a small price to pay for a changed life. So Mark Chernoff says, here are 10 things you and I can do to change our life at any time. Number 1, subtract the wrong things. When things aren't adding up in your life, it's time to start subtracting. Sometimes you must let go to grow. You can't discover new oceans unless you build up enough courage to lose sight of the old familiar shoreline. Be brave. Follow your values, make changes, and remember, no venture is ever a waste of time. The ones that don't work out, well, they teach you lessons that prepare you for the ones that do. Number 2, believe you can. The biggest obstacle that stops people from achieving their dreams is a feeling that they're not good enough. Don't be afraid of the space between your dreams and reality. Dear listener, you are good enough. Don't let life discourage you. Success is often closer than it seems, and with enough determination and drive, anything is possible in time. Everyone who got to where they are had to begin from where they were, just like you. Number 3, work hard for what you want most. Dreams don't just magically become reality. It takes a lot of determination, sweat, and hard work. Remember, Tough circumstances don't last. Tough people do. Most obstacles melt away when we make up our minds to march boldly through them. If you have a strong commitment to your goals and dreams and wake up every morning with a passion to work towards them, anything is possible. I love number 4, stand up for yourself. Listen, you cannot force people to show you respect, but you can refuse to be disrespected. If you always back down to keep the peace, you will forever be armed with anger and self-loathing and fighting a war from within. Some of you need to say what you need to say, do what you need to do, and don't let anyone bully you into a corner. Number 5, let go of the past. Don't stumble on something behind you. Don't let your shadow guide you. You're not a slave to your past. Let it go and move on. Dream and give yourself permission to envision a you that you choose to be, that you know you can be if you'll let go of your past. Number 6, some of you need to end hurtful relationships. Just because you have a past with someone doesn't mean you should have a future with them. Just because you miss someone doesn't mean you need to invite them back into your life. Sometimes missing them is just part of the healthy side of moving on with your amazing life. Number 7, be thankful for what you have. It's not happy people who are thankful. It's thankful people who are happy. Even when times are tough, think of all the beauty still around you. Friend, smile. Life is too short to have a victim mentality. Say to yourself, I'm not going to be bitter. I am going to be better. And then be better. Number 8, dedicate time every day to really taking care of you. Only when you sit alone quietly and look with honest eyes at your strength and your weakness, your failures, your triumph, your being human, your moral strength, you need to learn to love the person you are in spite of all the troubles you feel you have. And when you begin to truly understand the meaning and power of unconditional love, friend, your life will change. Number 9, keep learning and embracing life's changes. The seeds of your success are planted in your past failures. Your best stories will come from overcoming your greatest struggles. Your praises will be birthed from your pain. Friend, keep standing, keep pushing forward. Even the coldest winter turns into springtime. Seasons always change, and you can also. Enjoy where you are now. Sometimes we're so busy watching out for what's just ahead that we don't take time to enjoy where we are. Laugh at the confusion, live consciously in the moment, and enjoy your life as it unfolds. You may not be exactly where you had intended to be, but you are precisely where you need to be so you can change your life and go in the direction of your dreams. Really like that article. His name's Mark Chernoff. I followed him for quite a while, and it was called Ways to Change Your Life at Any Age. As I close out this week's show, let me end with another great article that I found about ways to change your life, and it's from a website called Life Optimizer. The article says, if we don't change, we don't grow. If we don't grow, we aren't really living. And that's by author Gail Sheely. You need to change in order to grow. You can't grow if you just stay where you are. You can't grow if you don't change the way you think and act. In fact, changing your life is a continuous process. Friend, it never ends. The moment you stop changing, you stop growing. Now, I'm not saying that I know everything about changing life, the author says. I'm still learning myself, but I'd like to share with you what I've learned so far. So here are some tips. Number 1, some of you need to slow down. To change your life for the better, you need time to think and reflect. If you're always busy, you won't have time to think about your life, let alone take the actions to change it for the better. You won't have room to apply good tips and good ideas. Some of you should just slow down and make some room for change. Some should slow down and enjoy life. It's not only the scenery you miss by going too fast, you miss a sense of where you are going and sometimes why. Number 2, be willing to change. Willingness is essential. It's your life. Nobody can change it but you. And if you aren't willing to change, then nothing in this world can make you do so. To build a willingness to change, First, you should realize that your life can be better than it is now. No matter how good your life is, it can always be improved. On the other hand, don't feel hopeless if your life doesn't seem good right now. You can always change for the better. Number 3, accept responsibility. Accepting responsibility for your life is a must. Don't blame other people for bad things that happen in your life. Don't blame your family and friends, your boss, the economy. Whether your life goes up or down, frankly, depends on you and you alone. And once you take responsibility, real change is within your reach. We immediately become more effective when we decide to change ourselves rather than asking things around us to change. Number 4, find your deepest value. Our friend, deep in your heart, there are some principles that you know are true. Take time to find them. What do you think is the most valuable thing in your life? What principles do you think you should follow for a fulfilling life? Those are the values you need to align yourself with. Find them and remind yourself constantly about them. The next one is find your cause. Change isn't easy because there is an inertia you need to overcome. Just like a space shuttle needs a powerful rocket to overcome the Earth's gravity, you also need a powerful source of energy to overcome the inertia to change. Your cause is the source of your energy that you need. Your cause can give you the strength to overcome the inertia. Friends, some of you need to find your cause. Find out what matters to you. I love number 6. Replace limiting beliefs with empowering beliefs. Limiting beliefs are among the biggest obstacle that hinder you from changing your life. You really ought to identify them before you can effectively handle them. To identify your limiting beliefs, observe yourself when you say things like, I can't, I won't be able to, I will always be, there's no way. Whenever you find one of these limiting beliefs, listen, put it on a mental list and then cross it off. Because these limiting beliefs need to be replaced with a new empowerment that will help you create the life that you want. Number 7, some of you need to replace bad habits with good ones. Beside identifying limiting beliefs, you should also identify the bad habits that you have. Are there habits that drag you down? Are there habits that let you know when you need a break? Write them down. And rather than focusing on breaking all those habits, focus on creating positive habits to replace them. For example, maybe you watch too much TV. Maybe you spend too much time online. Listen, just by stopping that, you'll still have a void. Go do something else to fill that space. I love the next one. Have the right expectation. Having the right expectation from the beginning is important. Otherwise, you get discouraged when things don't go as expected. Change takes time, especially if you want it to last. Have the right expectations to help you in difficult times. And then the last, maintain your momentum. Listen, the difficult part is getting started. And once you get through that, believe it or not, things get a little bit easier if you will maintain your momentum. The most difficult thing is to get started. And once it is, don't stop, because we need for it to carry you through. You need to keep improving your life. Change your life day by day for the better. Because friend, if you're not changing, then you're not going to grow. And if you don't grow, well, you know where that leads. That doesn't lead to the success that you know you could have if you would just reach a little bit further. Let me end with a couple ideas to help you. Friend, we all make mistakes. It's part of being human and fallible. But if you're like most people, you feel bad when it happens. And here's why. I believe a lot of people just want to do a good job. And studies show while money is a big factor for having great performance levels, being appreciated for talent and hard work, well, that ranks even higher. So listen, when you've made a mistake, here's the simplest thing to do. Clean it up and move on. Remember, it's not the end of the world. It happens to all of us. Always keep things in perspective. An occasional mistake is not worth beating yourself up for. Figure it out. Let's keep going. And I think the next point is get back on the horse. People say after an accident, you got to get right back in the saddle or the driver's seat. Otherwise, the longer you wait, the more fear you will have. I love the next one. Some of you need to take responsibility for your actions. I know we make mistakes. I do it all the time. But I got to tell you, I've learned to own it up and to fix it and to move forward. I take responsibility and then I try to do better the next time. Another point here is don't get caught up in your past. Don't get caught up in the past. Some of you need to look to the future and stop worrying what you have already discarded. Move forward. Listen, it's about survival. You cannot afford to be at the mercy of all of your mistakes. Acknowledge, accept, repair, and move on to the next goal. Why? Because you have been called to a bigger life. And I believe that is your responsibility to find it and to live it. I'm Deb Sofield. You've been listening to Encouragement for Your Life. Thanks for joining me. Join me next week, same time at this station. Have a good one, everybody.